Pranamami Hari Priye. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Tamasacha vikurvanha Bhagavat Virya Chodita Shabdamataram abhutasman Navashotum Shabdagam. Tamasacha vikurvanha Bhagavat Virya Chodita Shabdamataram abhutasman Navashotam tu Shabdagam. Tamasacha vikurvanha Bhagavat Virya Chodita Shabdamataram abhutasman Nabah Shotram tu Shabdagam.
Tamasacha vikurvana Bhagavat Virya Chodita Shabdamatram abhutastum Navashotra Shabdagam. Tamasa vikurvana Bhagavat Virya Chodita Shabdamatram abhutasman Nama Sutra tu Shabdagam. Tamasa vikurvana Bhagavat Virya Chodita Shabdamatram abhutasman Nama Sutra tu Shabdagam.
Tamasacha vikurvana
Bhagavat Virya Chodita Shabdamatram abhutasman
Tamasacha vikurvana Bhagavat Virya Chodita Shabdamatram abhutasman Navashotam tu Shabdagam. Tamasacha vikurvana Bhagavat Virya Chodita Shabdamatram abhutasman
Tamasa from egoism in ignorance. Cha and Vikurvana undergoing transformation. Bhagavat Virya by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chodita impel. Shabdamatram the subtle element sound. Abhut was manifested. Tasmat from that. Nabaha ether. Shrotam, the sense of hearing. Tu, then. Shabdagam, which casts sound. When egoism in ignorance is agitated by the sex energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the subtle element sound is manifested. And from sound come ethereal sky and the sense of hearing. From egoism in ignorance is agitated by the sex energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The subtle element sound is manifested. And from sound come the ethereal sky and the sense of hearing. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It appears from this verse that all the objects of our sense gratification are the products of egoism in ignorance. It is understood from this verse that by agitation of the element of egoism in ignorance, the first thing produced was sound, which is the subtle form of ether. It is stated also in the Vedanta Sutra that sound is the origin of all objects of material possession, and that by sound one can also dissolve this material existence. Anavrita Shabdat means liberation by sound. The entire material manifestation begins from sound, and sound can also end material entanglement if it has a particular potency. The particular sound capable of doing this is the transcendental vibration. Hare Krishna. Our entanglement in material affairs has begun from material sound. Now we must purify that sound in spiritual understanding. There is sound in the spiritual world also. If we approach the sound, then our spiritual life begins, and the other requirements for spiritual advancement can be supplied. If we have to understand very clearly that sound is the beginning of the creation of all material objects for our sense gratification. Similarly, Prabhuji, open. If sound is purified, our spiritual necessities also are produced from sound. Here it is said that from sound the ether became manifested and the air became manifested from ether. How the ethereal sky comes from sound, how the air comes from sky, and how fire comes from air will be explained later on. Sound is the cause of the sky, and sky is the cause of Shrotram, the ear. The ear is the first sense for receiving knowledge. One must give oral reception to any knowledge one wants to receive, either material or spiritual. Therefore, Shrotram is very important. The Vedic knowledge is called Shruti. Knowledge has to be received by hearing. By hearing only can we have access to either material or spiritual enjoyment. In the material world, we manufacture many things for our material comfort simply by hearing. They are already there, but just by hearing, one can transform them. If we want to build a very high skyscraper, this does not mean that we have to create it. The materials for the skyscraper, wood, metal, earth, etc., are already there, but we make our intimate relationship with those already created material elements by hearing how to utilize them. Modern economic advancement for creation is also a product of hearing. And similarly, one can create a favorable field of spiritual activities by hearing from the right source. Arjuna was a gross materialist in the bodily conception of life and was suffering from the spiritual activities by hearing from the right source. Arjuna was a gross materialist in the bodily conception of life and was suffering from the bodily concept very acutely. But simply by hearing, Arjuna became a spiritualized, Krishna conscious person. Hearing is very important, and that hearing is produced from the sky. By hearing only can we make proper use of that which already exists. The principle of hearing to properly utilize preconceived material is applicable to spiritual paraphernalia as well. We must hear from the proper spiritual source. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshur-militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshaya Shunyavadi Pashat Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Tamasacha Vikurvana Bhagavat Virya Chodita Shabdamataram Abhutasma Nabah Shotam Tu Shabdagam. When egoism and ignorance is agitated by the sex energy of Supreme Personality God as a subtle element, sound is manifested. And from sound come ethereal sky and the sense of hearing. Hare Krishna, everybody. I'll just, sound is clear? Just type on the chat. Okay, chat I'm blocked. Okay. Thank you. Sound. Golokera prema dhani harinama sankirtana. Material sound and spiritual sound. We should learn to distinguish. Just like, particularly for people who want to advance in spiritual line, it is very important to differentiate between bhoga and prasada. Which is not there in society. Many generally give to people something to eat. People are so difficult today, we just say sweets because they don't eat prasadam. Some people. Some religions, they are very particular. You give them prasadam, no, we don't take prasadam. They refuse. So we have to first understand there is a difference. Similarly, there is a difference between material sound and spiritual sound. And as in the process in Kali Yuga is Krishna consciousness by hearing Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam, kalau nasti eva, nasti eva, nasti eva gatir anyatha. We should learn how to produce spiritual sound. Generally, what we are producing is material sound that everybody does. But by hearing, when we are producing material sound, if somebody hears, it is not going to benefit him. Just like if you give bhoga to people, it will not make them spiritually advanced. Correct? It will make them healthy. It will make them strong. But it will not lead to spiritual advancement. It's fine. As much you eat 10 gulab jamun, 10 rasgulla, you eat rabadi, you eat whatever you can dream. But if it is bhoga, it is not going to make anybody advance spiritually. So you need to give them prasada. Therefore, devotees, when they want to help somebody, they give them prasada. And in fact, The first test, if somebody is serious in spiritual life, is that whether he is serious about having prasad. Many times people applied for taking diksha. And we just ask them, are you serious about it? They're not serious. They just have anything, everything. All day they eat left, right, center. They're not serious in spiritual life. So the seriousness in spiritual life is tested by food. Are you serious about having prasadam? They just don't care. They go somewhere, eat something. So it's very important that we take prasadam because it is spiritual. And at the same time, there is material, material food and spiritual food. And there is the vidhi. As far as offering prasadam, there is the vidhi. We make a plate, we offer it in front of the Lord, and we give time for the Lord to have. There is a whole vidhi, pancharatrika vidhi. Somebody is saying, no, I offer in the mind only. Then please don't come to us. You're not serious in spiritual life. Serious person means he will be very particular. Let me do some seva. And this is actually expressing you're expressing love to the Lord. And when you're offering bhoga, actually you can see, do you have any love? Patram pushram phalam toyam yome bhakta prayachati. You can see. Now, in the same way, just like bhoga, the same way, we have to learn to produce spiritual song. Now, if somebody, like a great devotee, when he offers, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to personally come and have prasadam at the house of Raghav Pandita. He used to offer, he and his sister used to make so much wonderful dishes with so much love and so much care. He was so careful, Raghav Pandita, that there was once an offering was going of coconut water to the Lord. Nariyal, what you call dab. So when the pujari was offering, he touched the top, the door, top of the door while walking. And then he went inside. He said, please bring out the offering. Why? At this place, the dust of the people's feet has reached. The door, people are walking. And the same thing you're offering to the Lord. He refused. He was so serious. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu points this out. He was so serious, he used to go far away. One of the elements of deity worship is that we should bring the best of the fruits of the season to offer to the Lord. Just like aam aa gaya. We all are very keen to eat the aam for the deities also. Or they also know aam aa gaya. We should offer. Okay? So you travel even far away to get the fruits, very tasty, to offer to the Lord. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu notes that. In fact, he used to every day offer food to the Lord, and there are certain places Lord Chaitanya used to manifest. One of the places was there for eating. When the Paniyati famous pastime everybody knows, there also Lord Nityananda invites Lord Chaitanya to have the prasadam. He manifests there, and invisible to most of the people, he was actually eating because Nityananda Prabhu was requesting him with love. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested physically. Some devotees could see, most could not see. Similarly, in the house of Raghav Pandita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to manifest. He manifested. Nityananda Prabhu started dancing. Wherever Nityananda Prabhu used to dance, in the night there was big Sankirtana house of Nityananda Prabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to manifest to watch that. And when he used to offer food to him, he used to manifest and eat it. Similarly, Sachi Mata used to, when make food for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he used to manifest there and eat it. Okay. So because they are offering with love, so many people are offering food. Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not manifesting? because it was not offered with love. When Sachimata was offering, or Nityananda Prabhu was dancing, or when Nityananda Prabhu was offering him food, or when Raghav Pandit was offering food daily, he used to come and eat. It's not that only that he was an expert cook. For service to Krishna, we should be expert, but there was devotion. Patram pusham phalam toyam yome bhakta prayachati. So we test. When our offering, we can actually see Pancharatrika Vidhi is practical. Bhagavata Vidhi is theoretical. So we may know big philosophies, but then we are not serious about having prasadam, eat bhoga like anything. Then we are not serious about spiritual life. Because food will disturb your consciousness. Food carries consciousness. Similarly, it's for hearing. It's for hearing. A person who is keen for spiritual advancement will differentiate between material sound and spiritual sound. Please, you got my point? Somebody is serious for spiritual advancement, and we all want to be. Suppose somebody is not, become serious, we should differentiate between bhoga and prasad. Because bhoga will disturb the mind. Right? So many shlokas talk about that. The mind will totally disturb. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna differentiate Sattvic, Rasic, Tamasic. But bhoga, these are all bhoga only. We are talking about prasadam. Prasadam is much more than sattvic food. Even some birds are vegetarian. Right? Some animals are vegetarian. So we should not be proud, I'm vegetarian. No, more. Nowadays they have started this vegan thing, nonsense. Krishna was having milk and butter. Don't try to be greater than Krishna. You can have the point that I will have ahimsa milk, have it from a person who's not going to kill his cow. That's separate. Who's not torturing cows, that's separate. But there's nothing wrong with milk and butter. Now, you should learn to separate bhoga and prasadam. Very important point in spiritual life. And even more important, learn to separate material sound from spiritual sound. You are a Paramahamsa if you do that. What does Paramahamsa do? He is able to separate matter from spirit. Correct? There is one very famous Paramahamsa eating meat. Nonsense. He is not able to separate between meat and vegetarian food. And people call him the most famous Paramahamsa. Don't ask me to name him. But Paramahamsa means he's able to separate matter from spirit. So you should be able to separate material food from spiritual food. That is advancement. Okay. Now we should be able to separate material sound from spiritual sound. You should be able to separate. And we should not hear the sounds produced by sin, just like we should not take food made by a sinful man. Do you know this principle? Very strict. Previous time, suppose they know one person is bad, is sinful, they will not go to his house and they will not drink a drop of water from that house. है ना? पहले करते थे ना? उसके घर में. अब तो हम लोग तो ऐसा नहीं रहा. पहले करते. They will go to anybody's place and they will not go. And उसके घर में तो पानी भी नहीं पिएंगे. Suppose somebody is involved in strict, है ना? हाँ? अभी भी बहुत लोग follow करते हैं. And actually, when the students go from home to college, this principle is broken because there anybody makes food and they eat. At home, at least, there is some purity. There, they have contracts, labor contracts they give, and they get the laborers. They give a contract for cooking to some person, and he will try to save money. He will get laborers only. He will not get gentlemen people because he has to pay little, and then that's all. And people eat their food. Youngsters, this mind becomes disturbed by eating all that nonsense. So it's very important to separate bhoga and prasadam if you are serious in spiritual life. And even more important if you are serious in spiritual life, to differentiate between material sound and spiritual sound. Very important. And as devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness, we should know how to produce spiritual sound. Now, we care how to produce spirituals. Just like, suppose somebody say, can you give some prasadam? So a devotee can create prasadam in one sense. He goes to the Lord with love he offers and he gives him prasadam by the mercy of Krishna. So similarly, by the mercy of Krishna, we can produce spiritual song. Anna? See, Krishna is not bound by your bhoga offering. Only when the bhoga is offered in love, Krishna will accept it. Similarly, when devotee is trying to glorify Krishna, the Prabhupada says very nicely, he says the words coming from the heart of a devotee that touch the saffron of the lotus feet of the Lord, and this word becomes, the sound becomes so powerful because it is offered for glorification of Krishna. And that it can wake up a man who had no spiritual interest into spiritual life. Because you see, sometimes people do not understand. If you see Srila Prabhupada lecture, at least in the recent history that we know, nobody has been more successful than Srila Prabhupada in making millions of people attracted to Krishna. है ना? हम तो हमारा तो हिस्ट्री चलो हमको इतना ही मालूम जब बचपन हमने तो भाई सुना नहीं. Somebody was so successful. So sometimes we analyze that sound and logic, what Prabhupada is speaking. Let us see logically what arguments he was giving. That's okay. You're only looking at one aspect. You're not looking at the aspect that it's the word spoken with pure devotion to Krishna. So therefore, when we hear spiritual sound, it is important to have submissive hearing. Just like when you're eating food, prasadam, you can say, this sweet is there, this is there, this is there. You can say like that. That's okay. But you should have service spirit when taking prasadam. Anna? Sevon mukhehi jivadau. Beginning from the mouth, with the service spirit we take prasadam, the prasadam acts. Is not only your analysis that there is gobika sabji, there is paneer, there is matar, there is sweet. Not only your analysis, what is more important is your service spirit. Similarly, when we are hearing the Shastra, we should have a submissive spirit, golokera prema dhvani. There was one Srila Prabhupada was taking a class. So when he was taking a class, one devotee got up. So Prabhupada said, what happened? What's your problem? Prabhupada, I am French. I don't know English. Prabhupada said, sit down. I'm talking to your soul, idiot, not to you. So the point is, Srila Prabhupada is producing spiritual sound. It does not matter even if you understand it or not understand it. Does not matter. You're getting? Sometimes we are reading Shastra and tell you how many times we don't understand that. Now we are reading the Sankhya. If you really go reading the Sankhya, there's so many paragraphs you will not understand. It's difficult. We're reading in 5th canto, the structure of the universe. Some of the paragraphs you don't understand. It's a different, we are used to another cosmology or modern. We don't really figure out what it is. But just read it. In fact, somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, if I'm reading a book, Srila Prabhupada, and I don't understand it, what should I do? Suppose I have some Prabhupada, just keep reading. Just read that paragraph again and again. Meaning will reveal to you. Huh? It's not only logic or some point in is no. Therefore, many people who do not know this, they get lost. They start searching for points. I got one more point. I got one more point. And I ask many devotees, how do you take a good class? He said, just do japa nicely, that's it. Because it is not material. It's not only, logic, or it is not only the analysis of your calories of food, it is actually the submissive hearing. So not only, therefore, something becomes prasadam when it is cooked by a devotee, when it offered by devotee to the Lord, and then honored by devotee, then it has an effect of a prasadam. 3 things are needed. Offered with love, first cooked by a devotee, offered to the Lord with love, and then received with respect. then it has an impact of a prasada. If it is suppose not cooked by devotee, then it is not prasada. If it is made by devotee but not offered by devotee, again gaya. That both the things are right, but then somebody is taking without any respect, then it will not also have the full effect. It needs the thing, all the process. You cannot short circuit. This, similarly, it has to be just like we have festivals. Now there are so many like Bhim, Shen, Joshi, so many big stalwart singers. We don't ask them to come. Whatever we can sing, we do. As an way, there is so many big singers in our Mangalore city. Just like there are so many big chefs in Mangalore city. We don't ask them to come and cook. Whatever we can cook, we cook. And people accept it. Similarly, you see, Prabhupada said, our devotees should not look like hired musicians. A band of musicians. No, they're devotees. They're devotees. They can feel when they're singing from the heart. It touches the people. Because they're singing with devotion. A devotee, he is offering that song for the pleasure of the Lord. What he is thinking, my Lord, be pleased. This is for your pleasure. And then at last, the people hear it with the respect and devotion. Now, for that to happen, there is one more important element. Just like for prasadam, the important element is that the place should be very clean. Suppose you keep the place very dirty and you say, take prasadam. People will think something is wrong. Once what happened, I went to a college. So what had happened, we had made a lot of laddus to give to students. And it was 6-7 days. The laddus started smelling. So there was a big box of laddus. And I told students, when you're going out, pick up and take one. Take it. But by mistake, before giving to them, I went and just smelled one. Okay, I kept it. Nobody took one laddu. They just walked out. So similar. So if you are going to keep the place dirty, suppose, ganda, stinking, even if you have made prasadam, nobody will take it. Exactly similarly, if the place is dirty, you're calling people for kirtan and then the place is dirty. Not only that, the devotee's behavior is not very pleasant. We are not receiving people. Hare Krishna Prabhu, please come take. Our behavior is not correct. Our voice is not soft. Then people will not like to listen. Correct? So those who are singing and those who are speaking, see, unless there is love and respect and affection, we will not like to hear anybody. True? Sunne ka man nahi karta. Just like in colleges today, the teacher fails to develop relationship with students. The teachers come to the class, they start shouting, they throw something here, something there, they throw 5 students out of the class. In front of everybody, they scold some students. Then they break the relationship. Then nobody wants to listen. They're just waiting for time to get out. And many times, many teachers are not able to connect to the students. They say they are not students, but actually they are not able to connect, whatever. Then you cannot teach. They just write on the board something and walk out. है ना, ऐसा होता है बहुत. मतलब स्टूडेंट की तरफ देखते तक नहीं, क्लास गए, बोर्ड में लिखा, भाग गए, एक बारी देखा भी नहीं. There are some strange cases like that. So similarly, those people who are nice devotees, who are producing spiritual sound, wonderful people, also should be careful that their behavior is so nice that people have love and affection for them. है ना? Then everybody hears with smiling with affection. But if behavior, band kar taal bajana nahi aata karta, then what will happen? People will not like to listen. You understand it? People have to be able to connect. The people should be therefore very, devotees should keep, just like prasadam, should keep a very respectable profile, very satya priya hitam, minimum. Speak truthfully, speak very pleasingly, and beneficially for people. Definitely. When Srila Prabhupada was singing in the park in America, and when doing kirtan for hours, some people, because of his very respectable demeanor, were listening to him with respect. That's all it is needed. Unless we hear somebody with respect, just like sometimes we meet people, they speak so many things, papa, 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 they speak. We don't listen because there is no respect. In society, what is happening, we are respecting people who are not worthy of respect just because they have some money. Now, who is speaking? As I told you yesterday, the point, the people feel there is shortage of money. There is no shortage of money. Krishna is poor or what? It's only an outlook. Like in a jail, you are lying in a prison. You may think it's a shortcoming of the king to put you in the jail. That's your outlook. But the fact is, you have done such crime that you deserve that place. That is good for you. So any situation I have is good for me. True? Any situation I have is perfect for me. There is nothing like it is incomplete. Anna? Somebody told me a joke yesterday. One king was walking with his minister. So what happened? Suddenly, the king's hand got injured. My colleague told me. So the minister said, "Jo hua, acha hua." I heard. The king got very angry and put the minister inside the jail. Kya bakwas, jo hua acha. Haath mein chot lag gaya, jo hua acha hua. So then what happened? Next day, what happened? The king was caught by some people like Bharat Maharaj who want to do Narabali. Jobi. So these people are about to do Narabali of the king. They suddenly realize that his hand is cut. So they don't, some damage was there. So they don't do Narabali when there is some damage. It should be neat. So some damage was there to his hand, whatever, cut or not. They left him. So he was very happy that he said, "Jo hua acha hua." Then he ran to the minister. He said, "Okay, I am fine. But then you are inside the jail. How do I say that jo hua acha hua?" Correct? He said, "Good. Because if I was outside with you, my dear king, then they would have killed me." So it's only outlook. Because we thought Krishna made a mistake. Maybe he didn't understand. It would have been a better position. Had he given me 100 crores, it would have been better position. He doesn't know how to manage, He doesn't give. So you may think like that, but the fact is that Krishna doesn't make a mistake. It's only your outlook that you're not able to see his complete arrangement. Incompleteness is in our surrendering to Krishna. So in Krishna, again and again in Bhagavad Gita says, "Tat shunu maya sakta mana partha yogam yunjam manashaya asamshayam samagram va yatha gyasasi tat shunu." So hear me. So if he can actually understand that the best place to hear is Krishna, and if he can every day keep some time to hear Krishna, we become intelligent. We understand, we know that the highest spiritual sound is coming from the Lord himself. In Bhagavad Gita, again and again, Prabhupada says, such an opportunity, because he's a great devotee. The Lord is speaking. Please hear. Vedavyasa again writes, Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Not the ordinary person is speaking. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is speaking. Please hear. So we have an opportunity. We are hearing so many people. We don't hear what Krishna is speaking. Just like continuing from yesterday, because we do not know what is our real problem. Our real problem is that I am not Krishna conscious. There is no other problem. Correct? There is actually no other problem. But then this problem will be solved if I hear. The best way to become Krishna conscious is Shravadam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Mandanam, to hear. So get an opportunity here. And take advantage of hearing. Prabhupada says that some people think Maunam is the greatest. They do Maunam for 10 days, 1 month. Prabhupada said better they shut up because they don't know anything. But Shukadev Goswami spoke for 7 days. Parikshit Maharaj said, Gurudev, please help me. Only 7 days are remaining. What is Shukadev Goswami? Said, no, I'm doing Maunam. No, he's not doing Maunam. Mauna means don't produce material sound, produce only spiritual sound. Those people who are producing material sound should shut up. Just like all the magazines, literatures, books printed in this world should be stopped. They're only material sound. It does not contain spiritual sound. It is a sinful activity to kill a plant for material sound. Say, suppose you kill a plant, say a vegetable, and offer to the Lord. It is not sinful, correct? Because you offer to the Lord. So similarly, you cut a tree, and from that produces newspapers. It's sinful. So many trees are being cut every day, millions of trees to produce a nonsense newspaper. And moment you read it, in half an hour, goes to dustbin, waste now. But a spiritual sound, the nature is, it is never waste. It is never hackneyed. It is always interesting. You see the material sound, the material songs, when say we heard 30 years, 40 years ago, they don't want to hear it again. Purana gaya, hai na? In 1 or 2 days, 5 times, 10 times, a new tune, new song, I don't want to hear anymore. But the sound of Hare Krishna mantra, we hear, Prabhupada sang 50 years ago, same thing we are singing today. It has not become, not saying change the lyrics, no, you're still happy to hear. So spiritual sound is different. Spiritual sound is not doesn't satiate or becomes boring. It is always refreshing. So in this world, what is happening in this world, Prabhupada says in the purport, we are hearing, and from hearing we get the idea to construct a building. But the resources are already lying. In Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna just heard Krishna. Everything remains same, but his consciousness changed. So just like food carries consciousness, Shabda is consciousness. It is even more than food. Food carries, Shabda is consciousness. So hearing from Krishna, the right source, the message of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna was actually liberated. So similarly, a Prabhupada quotes in the shloka, just by Shabda, the material creation has come. And by Shabda, material creation can be ended. We can end our material creation by Shabda, hearing the Hare Krishna mantra. If we hear from the right source, the Hare Krishna mantra, and we attentively hear, so how do you know it's the right source? How do you know somebody is producing material sound or spiritual sound? First thing, by the effect. First thing, how do you know? Suppose everything should be verifiable. If you are every day taking prasadam, after some time, say 1 month, 2 months, you will find some change in yourself. Slowly, you are developing spiritual interest. Prasadam will act. It will never go waste. And same way, if you are hearing spiritual sound or you are hearing material sound, you can also know by effect. In fact, daily we see that effect. Don't you see that daily? Suppose someday, for some reason, you get up late, you don't chant your round, you feel very bad. And after you finish your round every day, you feel blissful. In fact, it's somebody, Srila Prabhupada asked some devotees, tell me, why are you practicing spiritual life? So Prabhupada, because you told. As somebody said, Prabhupada, because it is written in the Shastra. Prabhupada, because great acharyas do it, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. So Prabhupada said, that is not the only reason. Think. Then Prabhupada said, Pareshanubhava. You are having a spiritual experience. In a heart, you are storing the spiritual experiences. And most of the experiences, if you recount, are with Shabda. There was a very nice kirtan that day. It was so ecstatic. That day my japa was so nectarian. That day I was reading Bhagavatam. I was in ecstasy, isn't it? Most of it is associated with Shabda. Shavadam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Mandanam, Archanam, these are all there. You have some, I went to a temple, I was just seeing darshan. I was feeling so much ecstatic. So many you may have, but Shavadam occupies the maximum amount of that. It's the most powerful medium. Therefore, you see, Prabhupada's guru telling Prabhupada to produce spiritual literature. He told him, if you get money, print books. And Prabhupada did that. He was creating spiritual sound vibration. Prabhupada said this Kirtana can be heard in one block, but this vibration recorded in the books can go all around the world. He called it Brahad Mridanga because it's a spiritual sound and this can benefit everybody in the world. And it can go far and wide. So therefore, particularly Prabhupada said this is recorded Kirtana. I'm speaking, you are hearing. What happened in America at a certain time, in the beginning, books were not there. There was only Bhagavatam 3 volumes, and neither there was much money to print them in big quantity. So all the devotees are generally what they used to do is huge Nam Sankirtana. They will go morning and not come back. Prasadam used to go towards them. Whole day they used to do Sankirtana. So that was one picture of ISKCON on the streets doing huge Sankirtana. When the books came into being and the book distribution also picked up vigorously, then a new picture of ISKCON came in the streets. ISKCON devotees holding books and distributing. Okay? Sometimes it is best to combine. We have seen when along with Kirtan you do book distribution, that is always best. But many places they will just do it like airport, they would just distributing Bhagavad Gita. Somebody asked question to Prabhupada, what do you say for this? Prabhupada said, don't matter. This is also Kirtana. I am speaking. What is Kirtana? Kirtan means somebody is speaking, somebody is hearing. So Prabhupada, this is recorded Kirtan. It's recorded. No? Books are recorded. Kirtan of Prabhupada. He is glorifying Krishna and people are hearing. Just like you are selling record. That also people are hearing. That is also Sankirtana. So in this way, let us meditate on today's focus. Just like between Bhoga and Prasadam, there is the difference between material sound and spiritual sound. Just like you don't hear. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked by Raghunath Das Goswami, what should I do when he joined Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Sarup Damodara? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Grama Katha na shunibe na bolibe. What is that? Grama Katha na shunibe na bolibe. So don't hear material sound, don't create material sound. You hear only spiritual sound. Therefore, Prabhupada says, keep pouring in. Pibata bhagavata rasamalayam. Aho muhu rasika bhuvi bhavu kaha. Those who are advanced in spiritual life, they drink only spiritual sound. They don't waste their time. You read Krishna book, how much Prabhupada said that's my best book. Why don't you read? You see, Akrura is going to see Krishna. He is in intense meditation. What will happen? And Krishna awards him everything. He wanted Krishna to talk to him. He wanted Krishna to bless him. And Krishna to feed him. Everything happened. His desire was there. And so if we have, by hearing devotees, we hear, Prabhupada says when you go to Vrindavan, we should go the way Akrura went. Don't go just by buying a ticket. Then you just go and come out. Without actually experiencing. So similarly, there is so much to hear. So beautiful Vedic literatures created. And Srila Prabhupada said, if you want to go back to Godhead, what you need, I've given in my books. Just take little, it is not much. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you're serious, if you know, just by hearing that, if I can go back to Krishna, Prabhupada said, you are guaranteed to become Krishna conscious if you read these books. He says, he gives that blessing. So Prabhupada says in Krishna book, anybody reads this book is guaranteed to become a pure devotee. Yes, sir? The blessing is there. He'll become pure devotee of Krishna, writing in the introduction. He's giving that blessing. Oh my God. So that kind of effect, that kind of blessing is in hearing spiritual sound. In Bhagavatam, Shuka Muni gives the blessing. He says, Anna, what is that? Dharma Projata Kaitvatara Paramo Nirmasaranam Satam Vedavasat Shivadam Tapatron Mulanam Shrimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimva Pare Ishara Sadhyo Hridi Avarudate Kritibi Tat Shana. He says, Krishna will be established as an irrevocable fact in your heart. If you hear Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuriti Vasachinandana. If you hear Chaitanya Charitamrita, golden Lord Chaitanya will be established in the core of your heart. Now, can a material sound vibration give you this blessing? No, it cannot give you any blessing. Waste, correct? Just like you take prasadam, there is blessing. That's called prasada, blessing. You live blessed. But eating bhoga, there is no blessing. So similarly, if you take advantage of hearing spiritual sound, how much blessing is there? That's called Shruti Phala. If you read Bhagavatam, how many chapters it is? Anybody who heard this chapter with great faith will go back to God. Is it there or not? So much spirit Shruti Phala is there. Any Shruti Phala in nonsense material sound? No. So devotee therefore should become very, very strict. Very strict, just like in the thought. In the mind an unwanted desire comes, we become strict. No. So similarly, when we are having bhoga, just like at least when you see non-veg, no, I'm not going to have it. Somebody gives liquor, no, I'm not going to have it. There's no yes become refined for a devotee to the extent that he doesn't have anything except prasadam. And then, still more spiritual advancement, he doesn't hear material sound. He hears only spirit. Because time is limited. I told you that example from Srimad Bhagavatam, when this famous instance came, that they were talking about a cow being slaughtered to the sages in Naimisharanya. So Shamika Rishi said, no, my dear Suta Goswami, does this concern Krishna? Otherwise, we don't want to hear. So we should be strict that hear everything only for Krishna's service. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Pranam Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.